Happy New Year, everybody. Listen to the Katana Podcast with me, Invisible Katana, the first podcast of 2015. And this episode, I kind of just want to talk about some of the nerdy stuff that's going to be coming out. You know, one of the big things, and I mentioned this in one of my old episodes, is that with it being 2015, it is the year of Back to the Future Part 2, which a lot of people are going to be celebrating. I don't know what to really expect as far as content about that, throughout the year, especially on the specific date, which is coming up in October. Which is actually right around my birthday, so it'll be ultra nerdy for me. But, there's just a lot of cool stuff coming out, not just Back to the Future, but just games that are coming out. I don't know what movies and things like that are really going to be coming out that are going to be too nerdy that I'm excited for. But as far as games, there are a ton of things coming out, and I actually just found out about another game, which might be like the nerdiest one because I'm a huge fan of anime, and I love Naruto. It's one of my favorite anime. And the manga just ended recently, and I love the ending for that. And they have like the final movie coming out, or I think it just came out in Japan. It should be hitting American theaters in February, I heard. So I'm excited for that. But they're releasing like maybe the final Naruto game, and it's Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm 4, and it's gonna include the official end of the manga. And it's even going to include the last movie, which I was really hoping for because they introduced it, and I was like, well, if they're doing the last movie, and I knew that the last game was going to, of course, come out right when the manga finished. Like, as soon as this manga is over, they're going to announce the final game because, of course, it has to include the actual ending to the series. And it's been announced. It looks great. It's only coming out for next-gen consoles, and specifically only PS4 from what I saw, which I thought was actually very weird. But it was kind of interesting to see that I'm going to get hopefully at some point get a PS4 and an Xbox One. So I'll be able to still enjoy it, but it looks amazing. It looks even better than it has in previous years, which is always really good. It's probably like the number one cel-shaded graphics game, as far as I'm concerned, at least. It just captures it perfectly, and it looks beautiful. Like, every version just looks better and better. And I currently have Ultimate Ninja Storm 3 Full Burst. It's the only one I've ever actually had, and I've wanted it since it came out because it mixes the two versions that they had before, like PS3 and stuff came out, when the games were coming out, way before they came out in America. So it was like GameCube and PS2. And then, since we were, like, of course, always behind on anime, not so much anymore, but during that time it wasn't as big as it is currently. So some of the games kind of went to different consoles, but it was like Clash of Ninja and Ultimate Ninja. And Clash of Ninja was like the 3D world game where you could run in circles and stuff, and then Ultimate Ninja was just the 2D platforms, but you could jump to the background and foreground and stuff, and they just had like different move sets. Ultimate Ninja had like 3 levels for jutsu and all that stuff. And Ultimate Ninja Storm came out, and it was the perfect blend. That's all I had been asking for. I was like, man, I would love it if they just mix these two together, because I love the fighting in Ultimate Ninja more than Clash of Ninja. But Clash of Ninja does have the 3D world, and Clash of Ninja 2 even added 4 players, which was really cool. I wish they had that in Ultimate Ninja Storm. That would be unbelievable. But I'm very excited for that to come out now. I've seen that, so I can't wait to get that one. It'll be like the last Naruto game. It would be weird to have that because Naruto's done now. There's going to be some special stuff coming up this year, some couple of special things that they're going to end the series with, or like the third part, the little mini series, I guess. But it's over, and so it's going to be interesting to get like this final Naruto game. And then there are a couple of other series that are coming out where it's going to be the final version, like Batman. Arkham Knight is going to be the final game in the Batman Arkham series, and that's going to be crazy to think about. And those are some amazing games. I think pretty much universally, I think everyone kind of loves those games. It gives hope to everyone who just wants a really good superhero game, because admittedly, there aren't a ton out there, and if there are, for the most part, they're all owned by Marvel, because it's pretty much like a billion Spider-Man games and some X-Men games, and I think everyone kind of loves, Spider-Man 2 is probably like the number one, where it just kind of hit the pinnacle, and some games have tried to do it, but haven't really gotten it back to, Spider-Man 2 back in the day. But, Marvel tends to have all those really great games, and DC tends to not really have any at all, if they do. And the ones they do have, typically speaking, are like the ones that people remember for being really bad, which are the Aquaman game and the Superman 64 game. So, Batman kind of brought new life in, and everyone wants Rocksteady to do like a good Superman game because they did a great Batman game and kind of help everyone forget about Superman 64. But Arkham Knight is coming out. I'm incredibly excited for that. I can't wait to see how they wrap up the story with all the stuff they kind of finished off and introduced in the last game, or not the last game, but I guess Arkham City, because that's the one they're going after chronologically. So I'm incredibly excited to see what we get, like what characters we're going to get, both hero-wise and villain-wise, because I want to see if they bring in any other superheroes. Maybe they will bring in Superman somehow, and I think if they pull that little surprise out, or somehow incorporate like the Justice League as a whole, maybe if it's just in a small portion, if they bring in the Justice League, I don't know how it could possibly be a small portion, but if they somehow manage that, it'll kind of blow people's minds, and it'll be great to see that, all these characters, and who knows how the costumes might look for them and how sweet that would be, and all this other stuff that's just super nerdy and contemplating and hoping for, of course, in this final installment. But I'm incredibly excited for that. Like I said, I love the Batman Arkham franchise. Like I said, I think pretty much everyone does. They're good games, so I'm incredibly excited for that. We have just all sorts of stuff coming out. No Man's Sky is coming out. I'm still incredibly curious about that, and I talked about that a bit in my PlayStation Experience thing, where it's one of those games where you just don't really know what to expect, but you definitely want to try it out. So I'm excited for that. I can't wait to... I don't know if they're going to do a demo. If they did, because of how the game plays, I guess it would have to be like a 10-minute demo or something, because technically you just start off on one planet, and then you just go, and all the planets are procedurally generated. So if you got a demo that lasted as long as you want it, technically you'd be playing the entire experience. So depending on how they do that, it'll be cool to get a demo of that game. It'll be really fun to see. God, there's just so much stuff that's been announced. I, of course, can't wait for E3, even though it's just January now. I can never wait for E3. It's always that thing, like, all right, the new year, can't wait for summer, of course. For one, just being out of school is always the best. But that's why E3 is always, like, the greatest thing ever, because it comes in summer when people like me who are still in school, we're out of school for summer, and then you also get, like, just a amazing week of gaming. So I cannot wait to see all the cool announcements that we're going to get out of that. And then, of course, we're going to have the second annual PlayStation Experience way at the end of this year. So that's, looking really far ahead. But I am excited for that already, too, because I really did enjoy the very first PlayStation Experience. I thought it was really cool. A lot of cool things, a lot of great previews that were in conjunction with the Video Game Awards. So I can't wait to see that happen from now on. Every year is just like a great weekend of gaming where we get a lot of cool exclusives, and more than you would typically get if it was just the Video Game Awards and you'd get maybe a couple minutes here. Now you get like maybe twice as much content, or who knows how much. So definitely excited for that, even though it's, like I said, the very end of the year. But I'm very excited for this year and all the crazy stuff that's going to get announced, nerdy or not, but mostly the nerdy stuff, because that's my realm. But I'm just incredibly excited. I don't know if I'll manage to get myself a PlayStation 4 this year. I really hope so. I want, of course, like all the consoles, because every console has some game I really want. Like PS4 still has Infamous. I still just really want Infamous Second Son. I really can't wait to play that game. Xbox has Dead Rising, although technically I can get that on Steam now. But they will be having the game from Remedy, Quantum Break. And, I don't know if that's actually coming out this year or not, but I just want that game. I love Remedy. I love the Max Payne games. Alan Wake is, like, one of my favorite games of all time. And Remedy, I swear, they just do, like, the most amazing stories. They always have some of the best music. Even if it's just, like, one song, they always end up having, like, the best music. And it's just, like, it's incredibly memorable music that they put in their video games. So I can't wait for Quantum Break. I have to get an Xbox. If it comes to PC, I might just get it on PC, because there's not much else. Like, I kind of wanted to get the Halo Master Chief Collection, but that's really about it. It's like those two things. I really want Quantum Break, because it's Remedy and I love them. So I want my consoles. I still want a Wii U because I cannot wait to get Bayonetta 2. Like, I've played a lot out of the new Smash Brothers. Fortunately, I have a friend who has a Wii U, so when he comes over, like, a bunch of us just, we get to play the new Smash Brothers. So that's really fun. We've got to play that a lot and experience a bunch out of it. We haven't done, like, any of the extra modes yet, which we talked about last night. And it was like, we just play the regular fights. We don't do like the cool board game mode that's in there and all the other extra modes and stuff. We just fight, and that's really it. So, we're still exploring that, like, as a giant group of people. We're still exploring the rest of that stuff. But I really want to get Bayonetta 2. Like, Bayonetta is one of my favorite games. It's without a doubt one of the best action games like ever made. It's like it takes Devil May Cry to a whole new level, and it does it even better. Like, it's just insanely over the top, super fun. If you haven't played it and you like just like hack and slash games, it's the perfect game for you. Like, you can buy Bayonetta 1. If you want to get it on the old console, I'm sure it's super cheap by now. If you want to get it on the Wii U, just buy Bayonetta 2 and Bayonetta 1, or they both come together, so you can probably get those not exactly cheap because it's still fairly recent, came out in November, but you can get it a little cheaper, I would assume, by now. And you'll love it. Like, it's an amazing game. The story is a bit crazy and over the top. It's, it comes from the guy who made Devil May Cry and like the old Resident Evil games. So it's going to be a little insane and over the top. If you may have played The Wonderful 101, which was a really early game that came out on the Wii U, it's the same people, Platinum Studios. They make some insanely awesome hack and slash games. They made Mad World on the Wii, which was a really beautiful looking game. I was playing that last night as well, and it basically just looks like a graphic novel, like you're just playing through a manga, and the only color in it is red because of the blood, and it's super violent. Like, I was thinking when I was playing that, I really wish that game would get like an HD re-release on the Wii U, because it would be perfect. You could keep all the same controls. People who didn't get to play it would be able to buy it now, maybe a little bit cheaper. And for people who did play it, if they happen to add in some new mechanics or something, and it was still cheap enough, they might buy it again because it'll be in full HD and still the exact same motion based controls because it's just on the Wii U, so it just really looks better. But they make some great games. I can't really wait to get Bayonetta. That's like really even more than Smash Brothers. That was the one for me. It was like Bayonetta 2. As soon as it was announced, I was like, I need a Wii U. Like, more than anything. And I know Smash Brothers is coming out down the line. This was before Smash Brothers was even announced. They announced Bayonetta 2. At least I believe they did. I could easily be wrong. But Bayonetta 2 was the one for me. I was like, I have to get a Wii U because it's the only console with Bayonetta, which really sucks. But Nintendo was basically helping Bayonetta 2 get off the ground because Platinum Games, as a company itself, didn't have enough money, unfortunately, to put it out themselves on all consoles. And it would be great if that happened down the line. It would really, of course, be up to Nintendo because, they helped them out. So they kind of had to do the exclusive deal. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been able to give it to, any of us fans. So I still appreciate that. At least they were able to. And it just sucks that they really didn't have enough money to do that. And I could be wrong. They could have just chose to do it. But based off of everything I've heard, it was the fact that they really didn't have enough money. It's not like, the Street Fighter thing, which, it's Capcom. They could have, done some other stuff. But that, that's a topic for a whole different time. I'm just excited for the new year. Excited for all the nerdiness. I can't wait to see what stuff does come out for, Back to the Future and all the silly videos that are going to be coming up this year, because I know there are going to be a ton of people celebrating, especially as we get closer to October. Like, it's almost the official year of, or the official day and year of Back to the Future Part 2, at least the future portion of that film. And I'm just very excited for it. I can't wait to see what crazy stuff comes up. I know I'm going to be pushing out a bunch of content related to Back to the Future. I'm hoping to get the Back to the Future video game, which I never actually got to experience. I played like a little demo of it when it first came out, but I definitely plan on buying that game and doing like a full let's play of that because I love Back to the Future. I heard the game was unbelievably well done. Of course, Telltale Games, so this was before they even did The Walking Dead, I believe, or it might have been after the first season of that. And everyone basically said like it's just really fun. It's just like with The Walking Dead. You get the choices and stuff like that, and you get to experience this great story that actually takes place after the third film, and it works. Like, it works really well. So I was incredibly excited to hear that. I'm definitely excited to play it. Um, like I said, all the content that other people are going to be putting out, I'm sure I'll be spending, days of my life this year just looking up all sorts of random content that comes out for any Back to the Future film, no matter what it is, even if it's fan films, it doesn't matter. I'm going to be looking that stuff up, but I'm excited for this year. Like I said, a ton of other games that are going to be coming out. Like The Witcher's coming out. I personally don't really play like The Witcher games, but they're just good games, and I think I mentioned this before. I just want good games to do well, so it's really just like, it doesn't matter if I play them or not. I really just want the games to just work. Like, I just want them to be games, and I want them to kind of just work out as they do. Like, that's pretty much it. I don't know why. I'm just weird like that. I love games, and I just want them to work. So that's just how I am. I hope they work out well. There's some other stuff that is coming out, like the Naruto things coming out this year. The I guess mini series third part, however they're gonna officially title it. I'm of course incredibly excited for that because, like I said, I love Naruto. Excited for whatever new anime we get because I love anime. I'm excited. Going back to games for a second, Uncharted 4, I'm incredibly excited for, and yet another reason that I really, really want to get a PS4 because I really freaking love the Uncharted franchise. I can't wait to see that and really experience the story. We have like the new Legend of Zelda, which is supposed to come out this year. Honestly, I don't really think it will. I would love for it to, even though, once again, I don't have a Wii U, but I would still love for that game to officially come out this year if, it happened to work. I know the Star Fox thing, I believe that is officially coming out this year. I think that's like a smaller download type of game. I think it's just like an HD remake of the original Star Fox. I can't really remember, but I'm excited for that to come out too because it definitely looks really cool. We have The Division, which is something I was excited for. I don't know about you guys, but The Division was a game that I saw when it first premiered. I think it was E3 like 2 years ago, actually. I thought it looked amazing. It still looks amazing, the footage that we get to see. We still haven't really seen that much of it, which is probably the craziest thing because it was 2 years ago. But there, of course, have been, like I can mention Beyond Good and Evil, and some of you guys will understand that, where that was shown, like the trailer for that, Beyond Good and Evil 2 was shown, I believe, E3 like 2008 or something crazy like that. And people are still just clamoring for that sequel. Like, we had that video and nothing since. And then I think The Last Guardian is the name of the game. Same thing. Like, we had that little trailer and it's like, is it coming out? Is it not coming out? What's happening with that? People really want to play that game, and all we got was that initial trailer, and then that was pretty much it. But The Division is supposed to be coming out for this year, and I'm excited for it. I love one of the, even nerdier things within, a nerdier thing, just loving video games, is the full detail they have. Like, they have an amazing lighting system that they plan on using. I hope that actually comes to fruition when they actually release it, because one of the things with games is that they always use basically PC specs when they're first premiering stuff. So of course it looks as beautiful as you want it to look. And then unfortunately when it comes to actually putting it on consoles, it's like, yeah, we couldn't really do that, or maybe we didn't have the time to do that throughout the entire game, so we took it out. And all these little minor things that were in the trailer where it's like, this looks amazing. Like, you can shoot through a wall or something and then you can see the sunlight come through the bullet holes, or and I think the initial trailer or initial bit of gameplay footage they gave us, people were like shooting up the car and you could see like bullets hit the mirror on the car and it looked different every time a bullet hit. The little glass would crack off, the door will look different when it got hit by the bullets, and it just looked amazing. So I'm really hoping that doesn't go away in the final product. I'm really excited for it. It looks great. It's a cool post-apocalyptic sort of game. It's not exactly post-apocalyptic, but it's definitely getting there where society isn't exactly what it used to be. And they had a great trailer. I believe it was at E3 last year. The trailer was like kind of depressing, but it was just like, holy crap. That was E3 that last year was like a really great year for trailers. Like Assassin's Creed, they always have some pretty beautiful trailers, but Division had a great trailer too. God, I can't think of the other game, but it was the game set in World War II that had like a really sad trailer and stuff, and it was just like a good year for like some crazy emotional and fun to watch trailers. But I'm definitely excited for 2015, nerdy or not. I'm definitely excited for like a lot of cool things coming out. Hopefully, a lot of great things coming for me as far as gaming and being able to actually play some of these new games, because we are officially in the new console generation. So everything's kind of like, all right, either you get yourself a PS4, Xbox One, and maybe a Wii U, but most likely, unfortunately, PS4, Xbox One, or you're just screwed. Like, you won't. It's not like it was. Like, there's, it's done. Like, it is officially over. There's no chances to maybe get this or get that. It is just done. So I'm hoping to get a PS4 or Xbox One very, very soon, and then I'll be able to, pick and choose what games are coming out. Like, the new Metal Gear is coming out, which is like my second favorite franchise out of all games is Metal Gear. My first is Resident Evil, despite their kind of up and down scales going on currently. And, even they're coming out with a new Resident Evil game, and I'm incredibly excited for that. Unfortunately, I'm going to wait to get it because they're doing an episodic thing. And even though, I love Resident Evil, just like with any episodic game, like the Walking Dead season 1 and 2, I just wait till those come all the way out, because honestly, I just cannot wait and like pay the money for each episode. It's like I just have to wait till the whole game is out so I can just play through the entire thing, because I'm just crazy. Like, I can do that with the TV show, but I think because I love games so much more than I love just watching TV, it would be a little bit different. It would be much harder for me to stomach just having like, here's an episode, and then it's not like you wait till next week. You wait like months before the next episode comes out. So I'm gonna wait for the new Resident Evil Revelations 2, which looks amazing. It's kind of like taking it back to how it used to be with the old horror, like really creepy style and everything. So I'm really excited for Revelations 2. We finally get Claire back. For people who are really big into the Resident Evil franchise, Claire hasn't been in a game since like the PS2, like early PS2, and technically that was just a re-release of a Dreamcast game. So she hasn't been, featured in a game, story-wise at least, since the Dreamcast, and she was put into the Mercenaries game, which was really just like a big mini game when you think about it. But I'm definitely still excited for it. I mean, it's Resident Evil, so of course I'm gonna love it. Of course it's coming out. I'm definitely excited for it. I'm definitely excited for everything that's coming out in 2015. I mean, it's gonna be a good year, hopefully. There's gonna be some crazy stuff, of course, because that's just life. But as far as the nerdy world goes, I'm definitely excited for all the cool games coming out. I'm excited for some good movies to come out. I know, like, the one thing that I do know is supposed to come out. I hope it does not get delayed. That would be devastating for not just me, but for a ton of other people as well. The new Star Wars movie is supposed to come out this December, and I'm incredibly excited. Or maybe not December. It might be October or November. I could be wrong. But it's Star Wars. Like a lot of people, I'm incredibly excited. I loved the trailer for it. I thought it was really cool. I can't wait to get another trailer where it's like a full, story trailer. I'm incredibly excited for that. I know, as soon as we get a little bit closer, maybe once we're in summer, you will see a billion toys start coming out. Like, they're just gonna be like, here's every character. We don't care if you know who they are. The toys are coming. So be prepared for that if you're really into collecting toys. If you are, you didn't need to hear me say that. But if you're not, be prepared to just see a bunch of new Star Wars toys coming out, and you just prepare for that, because it's gonna get real crazy. And I'm excited. It's a new Star Wars. I think a lot of people are. I mean, if you're into Star Wars, you definitely are. We all want it to just be good. We want it to be great, because we want it to be really good Star Wars. And I can't wait to see how they do the action in this new film, because we've transitioned from the original films. It's like, okay, it's a much different style. We had the prequel films where it was, once again, it was much more fast paced, and it builds up over time, because we have the technology to not only have these fights and be able to make the CG work around such fast moving characters compared to what we had in the original trilogy, but not only that, we have just the mental state of everyone who has watched the Star Wars films and there's all sorts of things coming out of that. So it's like we can expect this to look this way. We have, like the new lightsaber that was shown in the trailer. It's like, okay, you have the little hilt with the blades on the sides coming out, so it's much like a broadsword. That could definitely change the way you're going to be fighting it. Basically, it will change the way you fight because it changes how you can block. And that was one big thing that came out when the trailer was revealed. A lot of people talked about how the lightsaber just made much more sense because everyone knows, lightsabers are basically just tubes. And if you block someone, you basically can just slide down their lightsaber and boom, you hit the lightsaber and chop their fingers off and stuff, and you win. But, I'm definitely excited to see how the action plays out. Of course, the lore of the universe, I'm incredibly excited to see because it's Star Wars. I love Star Wars, have since I was very young. Got to see Star Wars, the special edition at least, for A New Hope. I got to see that in theaters. That's like one memory I have. Like, all I remember from that is watching Luke and Leia kind of swing across the big gap in that part of the film, and that's really it. But I do remember seeing that in the movie, so that's kind of cool. And I'm excited. Of course, I saw the prequel movies in the theaters. I'm excited to see this one. It's like the third generation, not nearly as long of a separation between the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy, but it's like the third set of the Star Wars films, and it takes place after. So there are a lot of cool things that a lot of people already know, and I'm not going to spoil any of that stuff. But whether you know it or not, if you're into Star Wars, I'm sure you're excited just like I am. I'm excited, of course, for 2015 in general. And of course, I want to thank you guys for listening to the very first podcast of the new year. I know this one's fairly short, not even hitting 30 minutes, but I just wanted to talk about the new nerdy year. And of course, I want you guys to go out, enjoy this new year, and enjoy being nerdy. Look out for all the crazy Back to the Future content that you are sure to see this year. Thanks for listening. Of course, if you guys have any topics you want me to talk about, nerdy or not, please put them down in the comment section below. And of course, thanks for listening.